Hey, friends! So glad you could be with me this week because we have a really super special hops for you. And straight from the heart of hops in the history of the world, Hallertau Germany, we visited a commercial hops farm with one of the most powerful hops in the world. Yeah, folks, Max Raphael here from Happy Hour at Hops World. Tip number 127, Polaris hops. Let's do it. Polaris hops, considered a bittering and aromatic hops, and in Germany where it was created, they've actually created a third variety or a third type of hops. Let's say that. There's bittering and aromatic, but Germany, they came out with their special flavor hops, a third variety. But I keep this one pretty much in dual use bittering and aromatic hops, okay? But I understand where Germany's coming from with their special flavor hops. Polaris is relatively new to the hop scene and to the beer scene. It was launched in 2012 by the Hops Research Institute in Halle, Germany. This variety has one of the highest levels of alpha acids and oils in the world. But bam! Although there has been a move against using the high bittering alpha acid hops lately, this variety has continued to grow and become more popular amongst brewers, craft brewers, and home brewers. And being available only in Germany because it's a protected variety, you can't unfortunately get plants or rhizomes outside of Germany to grow. But proof of its popularity, the first year after it was public in 2012, there was 106 acres, that's 43 hectares in 2013. By 2017, it had grown to 430 acres planted. And the trend continues to today. In 2021, it has doubled since 2017 in only 4 years at 1,079 acres or 437 hectares. Now there was an increase of 13% to 2022 to 1,220 acres. And projected harvest in 2023 is 1,331 acres or 539 hectares, which is another 9% increase in production. Is this hops popular, folks? It sure is. This variety is the result of a new head breeder that was hired by the Hops Research Institute, who started looking more at aromatic and unique aroma hops as opposed to straight bittering. Prior to this, brewers didn't even want to hear anything about new and aromatic hops, but by 2006, Anton Lutz took over the existing breeding program, and he realized that things were changing and craft beer was becoming more popular, so he started looking at these special and unique different hops that they were creating. So the original plant was actually created prior to Anton's arrival at the Institute. So the breeder was actually Herbert Enmeyer, the prior breeder at the Institute. And when this plant was chosen, it was given number 2000/109/72. And it was originally bred as just a high alpha variety. Now, the mother and father of this plant are actually Hull Genetics, their own plants that they bred, number 94/075/758, which is a Taurus-derived seedling, and Taurus being another German variety, and that was crossed with hull number 97/060/720, which is a Nugget-derived seedling, Nugget being an American or US variety. Now, this information comes straight from the published database of germplasma from the Hops Research Institute in Zaytech. They have one of the best germplasma programs and research and breeding programs in the world. And there are other publications that list Polaris as being bred from Nugget and some Japanese variety, but I tend to trust the Czech publication as probably being correct. Now, with alpha acids above 20%, yes folks, above 20%, up to 24% has been recorded. It's a great bittering hops, obviously. And in the bitter, you're going to get a nice, clean bitter with very little flavors. But with a total oils between 4 and 5 milliliters per 100 grams. Realize, many hops have 1. If they have 2, that's really high. 3 is out of this world. This hops has 4 to 5 milliliters of oil. You talk about stickiness, oil, lupulin, this hops has it. So, with these high oils, this hops is also considered an aromatic hops because it has unique, one-of-a-kind, minty, mentholy flavors with hints of eucalyptus, spices, pineapple, wine, even fruity and floral notes. This makes this hops a great aromatic hops if you use it towards the middle or end of the boil also. Polaris is a great choice for making it anywhere from Pilsners to IPAs, any Belgian style ale, or even a stout. So, the chemistry of Polaris hops. Alpha acids between 18 and 24%. But bam! Betas from 5 to 6.5%, and oils, like I said, up to 4 or even 5 milliliters per 100 grams of hops. Flavors, strong mint, menthol. Then there's light pineapples, eucalyptus, spice, wine, fruity and herbal notes come out at the end of the boil. As far as substitutes, good luck. There really aren't any true substitutes for Polaris hops, but if you need to find something, definitely try Hercules #1 and possibly Northern Brewer. Types of beer that you can make using this hops, from anything from blondes, pilsners, dark lagers, saisons, sours, any ales, pale ales, Indian pale ales, double IPAs, Belgian ales, Belgian stouts, any Belgian beer is really great with this hops. Even a porter or a stout, you can use this hops and make an awesome beer. Now, production, 2,300 kilograms per hectare. The farm that I visited told me he always gets over 2 tons per hectare. Now, as far as spacing, in Germany, they're at 12-foot rows and 3 foot to 4 foot between plants. And I would stick to about that, or 3.1 meters to about 1 meter or 1.3 meters between plants. All right, so enough talking about the Polaris hops. Let's go out to the field that I visited in September 2022 in Hallertau, Germany with these beautiful Polaris hops plants. Let's do it. Hey friends, yeah, I am smiling. Why? Here I am in the heart of hops in the world, Hallertau, Germany, in a plantation of Polaris hops. Not only is Hallertau the heart of hops in the world, Polaris is the bomb of all hops with up to 21-22% alpha acids. It's a dual use hops. The farmer of this plantation told me last year they tested above 21%. This year they're down a little, 19.7%. They had a year very dry, very hot, and 2022. Here we are on the 11th of September with a Polaris plant. The Polaris cones are typically a little bit longer, very tight packed, easy pickable, a little bit squarish, not too much, but when you open these cones up, but bam, you talk about lupulin. Powerful, powerful, oily, oily. The branches of Polaris, down the bottom, we got 3-4 feet here, folks. Check it out. Big long branches. Up top, same thing, 3-foot long branches. As you get up higher, typical of all of Europe, these people know how to grow hops full of cones. We're going to show you the plant from the ground all the way up to the wire. Here's the Polaris plant down at the ground. This was actually a V trellis, but they already cut one side. You can see how thick the stems are. And as typical, only 2 or 3 stems, folks, going up the string. In this case, wire, as they use wire here in Europe. But look at the amount of cones compared to the amount of leaves. All the way up to the wire. Wow. Incredible. These Europeans been growing hops for too many years. Up to 2.5 tons per hectare. They really know what they're doing. Polaris. Well, before we go, I need to thank my friend Christian Osler for allowing me to visit his farm. And that day I was lucky enough to arrive when he had a group of tourists from Germany visiting. So I definitely got the grand tour and made a lot of new friends. We first started off going through a tractor ride through the hops fields, out to his hops field full of Polaris hops. Ba-bam! And Christian explained how they harvest, and we got to see the tractor come by and actually harvest some fresh Polaris. It was real interesting to see the way the tractor grabs the plants at the bottom, cuts them off, and then pulls them and breaks the strings. And then after, we went back to his little production facility where he has an older Alley's machine from Belgium. But these machines, folks, they never stop working. They just keep going. So his old machine, sure enough, picked all the hops, and then he sent them up to the 3rd story of his hops drying tower by conveyor. And up top there, he spreads them out manually in a bed about 2 to 2.5 feet thick to let them dry. Takes about 6 hours in total, and the hops tower has various layers where he can control and open the floor of each layer and let the hops drop from layer to layer so they all dry evenly. And eventually he pulls out this huge giant tray from the cooling tower and drops all the hops right on the floor to recondition, actually to re-moisturize slightly. And eventually drops them down to the bottom floor where they get baled. Bam! What a nice small setup for a small hops farmer. I really enjoyed the time with Christian and all my new hops friends. At the end of the day, we even got to see how to make hops wreaths out of hops cones from his wife. Wow, and these hops wreaths even make nice hops hats for the hops queen that day. But I need to thank Christian, and I need to thank God for the blessing that was sent at the end of the day. I'm going to look for that pot of gold at the end of this rainbow. Thank you, Christian, and thank you, Hallertau Germany. Well, what did you think, folks? One of the most powerful, most potent hops in the world, straight from Hallertau Germany, the heart and history of hops and beer in the world. I really hope you liked our tip this week. If you liked, hit that button, put a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed to our channel, please subscribe. Every week we're going to be coming up with new tips and new varieties of hops. Next week we're hopping back to Belgium to visit a small hops farm with some really rare varieties of hops. Thanks for being with me, folks. Cheers to life.